That is right, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and villains, all you crazy kids out there. The tickets for Conquest are live. Now, get out there, get those tickets. If you have missed the early tickets, we apologize. There were only so many available, but there are still tickets available. Live the hype, ride off that high, jump in and get yourself some Conquest tickets. We as a team pushed hard to make sure that everything went down. We had that epic trailer showing some of the awesome highlights from Conquest 2026, put together feverishly by the amazing Bale Miller, who was working tirelessly through the night just a few days ago to bring you some of the drone footage and some other things. We even had some crazy mishaps with the drone footage where some guy came in with this like 2 terabyte data drive full of all this footage from the drones, and it was corrupted, so he had to come back the next day and continue doing that footage. But it's actually really cool with the drone footage that you might have seen from that, because it's been a couple of years since we've been allowed to be on site with drones taking some footage. But that was Conquest 2025. 2025, Mike? 2025, right? That was 2025, right?
Yeah, 2025, yeah.
Okay, so now you can get your tickets to Conquest 2026. They are up, they are live, they are happening now. If you were lucky enough to get an early batch, if you were waiting in line early and just had all of your credit card details and your bank systems ready, then congratulations for being one of the first 1,000 or so people to like get in there and get those batch 1 tickets. It's super great to see such an awesome and vibrant crowd. So awesome to have you already here. I am smelling the whiff of chaos chat in the air, but you'll have to be a little nice, because we do have some special guests coming at us today. And as much as we are very excited to talk about Conquest, wait a second. Who the hell are we? And what is this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, adventurers, heroes, and villains, to Burgschneider Live, your gateway to the realms of mythodea, epic LARP battles, and awesome historically inspired and fantasy costumes. So grab yourself a tankard, ready your gear, and join myself, Mike, and a few other special guests who will be joining us throughout the stream as we dive into all things Burgschneider, including Conquest of Mythodea, Brandywine, some very exciting announcements, and more. But to kick off this stream today, we're going to take a little break from Conquest. I know we got you G'd up on Conquest. We're going to come back to that. But you may have seen the thumbnail for this little thing, and we are not false advertising. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goblins and gribblies. We are on the countdown to the Brandywine Festival. And if you were at the comic convention, San Diego Comic-Con, just recently, you may have even caught the panel where some of those cool cats from the team putting on that festival in Kentucky turned up in person. Shout out to anyone in the chats who was there. But there was a little sneak peek video that didn't actually end up featuring at the con, and we have that for you right now. So hold your horses, ready your gear, strap on in, and check this out.
For the past 87 years, millions of readers have been transported into the world of Middle-earth. And from its very first chapter, we're invited into its stories that go beyond legend and myth. This October, we invite you to join us as we enter its chapters in a whole new way. And just as the one great story begins with a long-expected party, this adventure too begins with songs and dance, feasting, and friends. We cordially invite you to the Brandywine Festival.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally cried when Bale told me the first time. I was like, there's no way. Ain't no way.
Remember my dad like sitting in the hallway when I was a kid, and he would read The Hobbit to us to get us to go to bed, which didn't really work because we just wanted him to continue reading The Hobbit. So he probably read The Hobbit to us a dozen times.
We're actually here doing this thing. We're making the Shire. That is cool. That's so cool. Yeah.
Never could have imagined, really, truly, having an officially licensed Lord of the Rings event. That's so far past anything I could have thought of.
If more of us valued food and cheer and song above boarded gold, it would be a merrier world. At the end of today, let's celebrate the beginning of bringing that to life for the 1,000 people who will be joining us this October. So, round of applause for everybody here.
All right. Oh my goodness, who the heck is this guy?
How did you get here? I'm magic.
Magically appeared. Welcome, Bale Miller, once more to the stream. It
Thank
is
you for having me.
awesome to have you here.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a few people out there who know them. Shout out in the chat if you know this guy. Have you met this guy either in the reels or on the internets before? No? Don't you? You don't know him? He doesn't know
I
him?
think a few people from the chat, perhaps.
Maybe. Oh, a magic Bale appeared. It is absolutely true. So, I mean, look, that was crazy. That was a video. We saw some people in the comments there saying, oh, we've seen this video before. And the first part was similar to a video I've already seen, but...
Yeah. What's great was we had a chance during our last team building and our crew weekend where we shot some stuff. Our team from Studio One out in Boston came down and helped us film that, which was great. Did a little bit of chatting with the team and getting a chance to really talk about what's exciting for them. And so we saw Kerrigan, who's the head of our logistics. We saw Marcus, who is a head of plot and story, and then myself as well, just briefly, but really a great kind of a set of montage shots. We also had Kit from Skilltree, who's our prop master, that is.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting to have everyone on site kind of prepping the space.
Yeah, and by prepping the space, I mean with like shovels and rakes and implements of destruction. That was...
There was a lot of work, yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of landscaping.
So there's a lot of landscaping, a lot of grounds prep, also just doing a lot of surveying. So we need to understand the space and how we're going to intend to use it. So building maps about where tents go. I mean, we've got more than 20 tents and big sun sails that we're bringing in. So there's a lot that has to be organized and planned out so that we know exactly where everything's going to go. And then you saw wattle fences being produced, the modular wattle fences, which allow people to kind of set those up to create certain boundary areas, which is really cool. And then also just a lot of stuff where the team is going through and looking at the space and how we're going to be using it for certain plot elements. So there's a lot there getting done.
Okay, and we saw a bunch of people in costume there. They were wandering around with their kids and their families. What was that all about?
That was our dance. So basically, we have a group being run by Rachel Praise, who's our dance coordinator and designer. So she was working with a team to basically prep them on all the dances that are going to be taught during the pre-event workshops. Okay. Which was really cool. Really excited to have that happening at the same time.
You'll have a core team of people who already know all the dances. So when the players come on site, they'll just be able to be instructed by those people.
Exactly. And actually, you can take a look at our list of pre-event workshops and demos that got released last night. On kind of what those workshops are, not just the dance, but also we have tinsmithing and yarn spinning, and we have an introduction to LARP, and we even have a couple more that are going to get added to that list over the next few days.
So where do people find those guides? They're all in the Discord?
If you jump over to burgschneider.com, go to brands, and in the brands you'll find the Middle Earth landing page. Wow. You can go there, and there's actually a list of all of the guides, but also now the article as well.
So this is now not just open to people who are ticket holders to the Brandywine Festival, but the general public as well can start to get a look in on what's actually happening inside the festival.
All the guides, all of the workshop lists, all that is now publicly available for you to take a look at.
Okay, that's so cool. So we, this is news for us too, ladies and gentlemen. But we will make sure that those links are in the description down below if you are coming from outside the Brandywine Festival or if you're not yet a member of the Brandywine Discord. Is it at the moment true that it's ticket holders who are in the Discord?
Now there is a new channel in the Discord, which is actually connected to upcoming ticket issuing for Scald, where you're going to be able to, if you don't have a ticket and interested in attending this year, those who can't attend can sell their tickets off to other players. And excuse me, and can transfer them. And there's now a channel and a section in the Discord for that.
Okay, so for those of you who are unaware of the platform we normally do our tickets through, it's through scald.com. And I believe do we have a landing page in scald.com for that?
We don't just yet. That'll be coming up soon when we issue tickets.
Keep an eye on.
If you want kind of a roadmap and a timeline for all the stuff that's going to be happening, if you jump over to the Kickstarter page, there is now an update on our Kickstarter that outlines all of what's going to be happening over the next 30 days, all of the little pieces and bits of information. You'll be able to pull that up and take a look at everything that's there.
That is pretty crazy. Okay, but wait. I feel like we're traveling at light speed. A bunch of you guys may already know what the heck this is and what we're talking about. We gave a brief introduction, but who the hell are we and what do we do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are Burgscneider. As we said, we are makers of fantasy-inspired and historically inspired costumes. We hold licenses to Dungeons & Dragons, Warhammer, and other great pen and paper role-playing games. But we have an event wing that runs live-action role-playing games in their own franchise, the Realms of Mythodea, but also in the Middle-earth Enterprises, Middle-earth. How would you describe the genre that you're encapsulating?
I mean, it's all of Tolkien's works. So specifically, we work with Middle-earth Enterprises. That's our partner for this. And the first event, the Brandywine Festival, allows players to dive into being a hobbit at a festival for 4 days, and it's basically a chance to experience the jovial, convivial life of a hobbit for a few days.
And when we say experience the jovial and convivial life of a hobbit for a few days, this is a live-action role-playing game, albeit live-action role-playing game light, but a live-action role-playing game is best described as, Mike.
Yeah, it's like a pen and paper game, but for real, you represent your character, and you're playing in a world where a bunch of other people are also representing their character, and you make play together.
Yeah. Tom, any elaboration on that, particularly for the Brandywine?
I really love the explanation of LARP as collaborative storytelling, physically through the medium of LARP, in a agreed upon premise.
Okay.
So whatever the premise is, in this case it would be Middle-earth, being hobbits. That's the premise, and we're co-creating story together physically at the event.
That is amazing. So fully immersive live experience where you do what you do, you represent your activities, you represent your engagements, you get in there, you do it, and we obviously have safety measures and mechanisms in the game to make sure that nothing really goes too far, and there are clear communications about that. Now, this is actually a topic that we are going to be talking about later in this episode for LARP in general. And it's not specifically applied to the Brandywine. A lot of the principles are definitely applicable to the Brandywine, but you should obviously have a look at the roleplay guides associated with the Brandywine, which are available at the moment. Is that right? Or are they? Yeah. So you check them out either through Scald, through the landing page at scald.com or Realms of Mythodea.
For Brandywine?
Yes.
Check out Burgschneider's landing page, or you can jump over to the Kickstarter. The updates in Kickstarter have all the information.
Updates in Kickstarter, best way to find all of that out. But we'll be going into a little more detail on some other aspects of the game, of how to engage with the game. So later on this episode. However, that's kind of like a rough summary of what you're getting into. It's like a first-person role-playing computer game, pen and paper game, but for reals. What's out of this like first engagement, first on-site working bee? What's got you most excited at the moment, Bale?
Oh man, there's a massive list of things I'm like really excited for. One of the things just recently that we've been working on as kind of a main focus is the music and dance aspects. So working with our different bands, we've got 3 different bands that are going to be playing. We're really excited to put out the article later this week that has information about both the dance and the music. Really pumped about that. And we're talking about basically how the production team is going to be putting this together. Had a big meeting, which I just ran downstairs from. I had to leave that one. They're actually still in that meeting right now.
Oh, crazy.
Where they're talking about the logistics around, the entire kind of production process for making sure that music goes well.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously we have questions, but like there's probably we have a limited time with Bale. So if you guys have any questions, or we have any questions that have popped up so far, while we've got Bale in the reels right here.
We do have one. Is it going to be possible for people to invite people to the Discord server?
Yeah. At this stage, you would be able to actually go to the updates page on the Kickstarter, and from there's a link where you can join the Discord.
Oh, cool.
Okay, that is so awesome. So really starting to spread its wings and become a real event, because just so that you guys know, if you're Brandywine associated or if you're just new to LARP or new to Burgschneider, we've been talking about tickets and how to get your tickets and the waves of releases. But just generally speaking, it has now been 2.5 weeks since Conquest, and we have just released the tickets. So it's typically within 2 weeks of an event, we will drop the trailer for the event, showing you a little bit about what it was like last year and saying, hey, it's this cool last year. It's going to be just as cool, if not better, next year. It shows you when the tickets will be releasing. And then by the Friday of that week, or by the end of that week, usually within 4 to 5 days of that trailer being launched, then the tickets are available. And that will be the case for Brandywine this year.
It will be.
Of course, the specifics about exact dates, stay tuned for those announcements.
Yes.
Sometimes there'll be variables of a couple of days, because
Exactly.
when you run a giant festival for a bunch of people and you're completely buggered, there are definitely things you do immediately afterwards. But the first thing is the zero environmental impact policy being enacted, where we make sure that there is not a single trace of our previous existence in the space we're in, except what obviously the landowners want us to leave behind.
So Team Brenda have been fantastic about that. And for our location, yeah, obviously we're going with the no trace policy in regard to making sure that the space is free of garbage, trash, rubbish in general. But then also we're able to store some things on site and
that's
actually
exciting.
do some maintenance for preparations already for the following year. So our team's going to be on site an additional couple of days doing prep that's going to be growing throughout the year toward the next.
That's so good. It's so great. I think we talked about this a little bit last time, but so many of the festivals that we build and the infrastructure and the physical relationships we have with the environment and the people who run the environments are built on the goodwill that's given by the people in the environment. In particular, in Conquest of mythodea, we have this whole community built around the town of Brokolo, who really support what we're doing, really like what we're doing, and really come together to make sure that we can keep doing that, keep growing that event. And from what I understand about the location and the relationship you guys have in Kentucky, Terrapin Farms.
Yeah,
Terrapin
Hill.
Yeah, Terrapin Hill. It sounds like it's it's gearing up to be a great event.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, obviously first year, there's going to be a lot of steps that we're going to realize, man, we really need to make some changes for the following year. So we're trying to remind people, first year, there will be speed bumps. There will be hurdles that we're going to have to accomplish together as a community. But the fact is that the amount of positivity and excitement that we've had this year is just, it's amazing. We have never seen a single year event like this kick off in such an amazing way.
But this is the case with all of the LARPs we run. Like, every year, yes, we learn a lot. We take all the lessons that we've learned from previous events. We bring them forward to the next one, but still, every single year is a brand new experiment, because the simple fact is there is nobody else in the world running games on the scale or the level or the in-depth detail that we're doing it through Burgschneider, and now extending those skills and those knowledges into the States, into the Brandywine. And it is an experiment. That experiment grows with the community and grows with the people, because as we've talked about previously in the streams, much of the environment and the play brought to the game is brought by the players. This isn't an amusement park. You are all there to elevate each other through play, through community, through harmony, through fun, through emotional challenges that you choose to take on. No one's there to emotionally burden each other, but sometimes going through emotional play is like a fun part of the game that you're doing.
Produces a roller coaster opportunity for players in their story, and I think that's really fun. One of the really cool things that we've already seen, especially with the Brandywine community, is this real enthusiasm toward creating opportunities for players together. One of the great ones, like for instance, Night Market. They're doing an awesome kind of night market where players are bringing their own things to be able to sell to each other in game or trade or swap meet. Really cool stuff. Another one that I really am excited about is like Lantern Parade. They're going to be doing this really beautiful Lantern Parade one of the nights.
Okay, so does that mean really cool people are going to be making lanterns at workshops on site and then parading them through?
I don't know, because this is one of those cool things where players are the ones organizing and developing this, and we're just facilitating and making sure that we can give them the best opportunity to succeed at it. So we're still talking about how to get all the details from them on how we can support this, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's so cool.
We've got a couple little things we're going to help to promote these for players. We haven't announced yet, which we're quite excited about. So.
Yeah, like to two things on this that I love to see is that we run JDS every year, and JDS or Jenseits de Siegel or Beyond the Seals is very much our community driven con, and it's a con where we put on the event, but all of the plot and all the interactions are driven by the players, and we just try and facilitate and guide that as much as possible. But then we're always really surprised with what they come up with. The second thing is that community billboards, not like internet billboards, but real notices nailed up to trees or pasted up to physical billboards at the location, contain that they're not props. They are actual things that other players are posting notifications to, saying, come join our play, come be a part of our thing. Hey, we're putting on a play about this particular historical instance that happened in the Brandywine, or we're doing this thing. I think there was a whole play that the Undead Flesh put on about the misdeeds of terror. So terror is one of the elements and from the old world, and the Undead Flesh, this anti-element, and they had this big anti-relationship, and so they put on this theatrical performance to try and settle the score once and for all.
And I remember seeing the wanted poster of the Undead Flesh, and it's wanted alive.
Yeah, wanted alive.
Wanted alive. Yeah. Ignatius. Ignatius.
No.
Yes, that priest, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's just a huge amount of opportunity for players to create and to develop their particular experiences, which is really cool. And we're really encouraging that. And your point that you brought up around, kind of posters and schedule stuff, this is in line with what we're going to be doing. I don't want to give too much information, but we're really excited about doing that as well.
No, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's
I think really the core thing that I think really in the next few weeks that we're really excited about kind of communicating to players is just the scope of how much the players have brought and promoting as much as we can how much work that they're doing, because as much as we've done, the players have really brought so much to this in a way that we did not expect the first year. So we're very excited about.
All right, so I feel there's a metamorphosis actually coming. If there are any last questions that we've had in for Bale before this metamorphosis takes place?
Not questions, but some interesting comments. So there's a lantern song that was written by the community to sing during the parade.
That's so cool. I have not heard it yet.
You haven't heard about that?
I kind of don't want to until I'm on site to hear it, because I think that's going to be so cool.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
And also about being careful about putting nails in the trees, because don't want to invite fungus into the bark.
Always good to take care of your trees.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We all these things will be taken into consideration by the team. Obviously, Mike and I, we're just cheerleaders here. We can't talk absolutely about what's going on, as we've stipulated many times. The team that's on the ground handling the Brandywine Festival and Bale, and questions, please direct them through the Discord. Now that's more open, you should be able to get access. You can start inviting friends in, start to get involved in the hype and build the hype for next year, because this is just going to become more and more awesome. And if you've seen some of the pictures from Conquest and the excitement that's coming off of the back of that, then you start to get an idea of what's going on. And actually this interview is this you guys are about to see what is an amazing metamorphosis, because we've got Bale Miller sitting here staring down the barrel of what is the community incitement leading up to the Brandywine Festival. But he's about to transform into another entity that is going to be representing and talking about all of the hype and the community interest coming off the back of Conquest. So if you guys are ready for this, we're going to do this on 3, 2, 1. Wow. And we would like to welcome special guest Fiona. So Fiona is our lore master for the realms of Mythodia. She knows everything that there is to know about most of the factions. And if she doesn't, then she will jump in and refer to other people. But a special thank you to the now slowly disintegrating body of Bale Miller. It's lovely to have you on the stream.
My tiny legs, no.
And welcome to Fiona.
Yeah.
It is super awesome to have you here live streaming. So you just came off the back of Conquest of Mythodia, and in the lead up to Conquest of Mythodia, And for those people who don't know, from Brandywine Festival, our main world, the realms of Mythodia, have been in a continent, or where the game has been based in a continent called Mythrospira for 20 years. But then slowly over the last 5 years, Fiona and the plot team have been working and working and working slowly to make the preparations for the old world to slowly come into such a state of being that all of the players and many of the NSCs have now been transferring themselves into a new world called SARKAN. And at Conquest this year, the game just gone 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, before we are all still on the tail end of, the plot team finally brought into realization all 7 of the new friendly player NSC factions. How was that feeling for you, Fiona, to see those 7 new factions like actually come into the world for the first time and meet the players? First, how did you feel beforehand, before the game started, and then how did you feel once it was underway?
Yeah, I mean it's a big mixture of excitement and also a little bit of fear, because I mean we're trying something new. We introduced something into a system that was running for 20 years. And it was a slow process, but we also been working on this for over 3 years now. So there was also a lot of excitement connected to it. We really wanted to show the people what we worked on and how we made this world bigger, because it's not like an entirely new world, like we're not leaving the old world behind, but we're opening up the world. Like we added another continent, and there's even more world to see after that. But yeah, we opened up the world, we made it a little bit bigger and attached something new to it. We basically made it expansion like World of Warcraft.
Okay, yeah, right. So you
And
can
yeah,
still play, because I remember
yes.
seeing, as someone who's been to the Conquest for really only 3 years in a row before this one,
Yeah.
but still in enough time to really start to become familiar with a lot of the old player-friendly NSC factions. And while they are not officially or NPC factions, for those people who are sort of unfamiliar with the terminology, these are player-friendly NPCs that you would interact with your character to find a plot, get involved in things, get involved in mysteries. And it was really cool to see some of the old player-friendly NSC characters come into SARKAN now as player characters for the first time, and have really cool experiences interacting in some cases with the new player-friendly NSC factions. What did you feel about how did you feel about those interactions?
I think player friendlies are like what we call the people that make up the world. Like these are people that live in this world. And it was really fun to see how that this all came together, and um how they portrayed this world, because I always say, like, jokingly, that in the end we're all just sitting on a meadow, and we put a lot of stuff on it and everyone is in costume, but
Uh-huh.
it's really hard to create the whole illusion of a new continent, of another place, of another world, because we cannot build cities, not yet at least. We cannot build entire new cities or um and things like that. So the best version we have is showing you the people that live in this world. So
That's
this is why we had like over 150 new NPCs, like player
wow.
friendly NPCs from different factions that yeah, made it all real. Like these are people that have lived in this continent,
Yeah.
and they talked about how it is living in this continent, and
I'm just
how
going
it
to
is
run
to
a
feel this
slideshow while
continent.
we're talking, by the
Yeah.
way, so you can like
Yes.
actually start to see some of the images like
Yeah.
associated with some of these new NSC
And
factions.
they're very different. That's I think that's one of the main concerns, or the main ideas we had behind them, is to give them the players different factions that they can identify with. Because some of them are very weird, like you just saw the Tufrani, which are like mushroom people.
These
They're very
guys,
weird.
yeah,
They're
look
very
at those guys.
they're very
Ooh.
complicated to talk to, but they're very like nature driven, and therefore all the druids and all the player characters that are very connected to nature. But we also have the Ataronians, and we have the Greifenbronner, which are knights, like they're very medieval, Middle Ages based knights, and they are all about honor and the like an honor system, and about their the nobility and stuff like that. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of other players that will connect to these people. And then we have the Vibalians, which are the guys that you've seen with like the straw and reed. Yeah, these
These
guys.
ones. Yeah.
And they're like a mixture. Like they do have settlements. They try to reclaim a lot of wild land, but they also have a connection to nature. So there's like something in between.
And
And then we have
we've just
yeah.
to interrupt you quickly. We just had a comment about
Yes.
this mysterious figure right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this was an NSC, but can you tell us a little bit about this character?
Yes. So that is the Guardian of the Threshold. We
Okay.
introduced a new mechanic this year, which is basically, if you boil it down, it is kind of a respawn for
Okay.
players. But it's not supposed to be a thing like, oh, I'm dead and now I go through the respawn and I come back to. But it's more like an experience that you can do if you choose to. Like she is the guardian of the threshold between life and death. And if your character would have died in a situation, you can go into this plot location. It's like a beautifully decorated and very calm environment, like more like a church, I think, or like a
Yeah, okay.
graveyard.
Yeah.
And she's the one that decides if your story has already been told, and if she
Okay.
sends you back to the living, or if you maybe choose to end your character's life and just be done with it. But yeah, there was a lot of I heard tons of beautiful stories from her directly about interactions with players and the play they had with this concept of almost dying and being sent back, and what does this do to you as a character that you have like a second chance. And
which
yeah,
is cool.
she is like in these pictures you see her walk over the like through the battlefield,
Yeah.
and she was like this very imposing figure that at the same time you were like in awe of her because she looks so cool, but also a little bit in fear because yeah, she means death
Okay.
is afoot.
Okay, and who
So
is
yeah.
I saw was this a player or was this a Greifenbraun
No.
character?
That is that is the sister of Ul.
Wow. Okay. Can you tell us a
She
little
is
bit about the
supposed to
Sisters of Ul?
I don't want to say too much because it's
Okay.
kind of the point that they're very a mystery right now. I think the short version is they are people that help out people in power. Like they're how do you call these people that tell kings and queens what to do?
Advisors. Yeah, very
Advisors,
important
thank you.
advisors.
They're like a group of advisors, and they show up like everywhere where power is, and that's all
Okay.
I want to say.
Okay, and like because I was very very privileged earlier in the year or late last year even to be able to be
Yep.
a part of the beta test play,
Yes.
and I met one of the Sisters of Ul as the character I was playing there, who regrettably is dead, but you know such is life. But when I saw her, she was in a more neutral outfit, but in this situation, she's emblazoned with the Greifenbraun, which are orange and green with the griffin emblem.
Yeah. So the
Interesting.
sister of Ul, they kind of become part of the culture they're sent to. Like if she's the advisor of the of a high like a higher up person in Greifenbraun, she would wear the Greifenbraun colors. So, like she becomes a Greifenbrauner.
Okay, but what about these Inquisition that I've heard so much about? Like, look at these guys. They're sinister, right?
Nobody expected, no, everyone expected the Sarkanian Inquisition because we've been talking about them a lot.
Yeah, okay.
I think that, well, the Inquisition is basically a group of people that after the big mage war that happened like thousands of years ago, they decided to become the guardians of magic in this world or in this continent. Like they take care that no one is using boundless magic, like magic that is taking too much out of the land and of the people around them.
Yeah.
If you see them, they always look very tired or full of scars because the way they use magic is they give most of the energy themselves. Like it's their own energy and it's their own life force and basically also their lifetime. So they always look very haggard because they take great care not to take too much from the land.
Okay.
So Fiona, I've got a question actually.
Yes.
So say, I don't know, a certain person was a magic user, say a druid, for example, and they had a run-in with someone from the Inquisition. How exactly could that play out?
So I think the main thing is that the Inquisition is a player offer that's supposed to create play and not stop play. I think that's
Okay.
very, very important. Like we don't want it to be the police and then they come to you and be like, "Oh, you used magic. Now we have like unfortunately to incarcerate you and you can
Yeah.
never play again." That's not what we do. What they do is they try to teach you how to use proper magic. Do they
Okay.
always know how to do it? No, of course not. That's kind of the point. They have one view into the world, like on the world, and one view of how to properly use magic. But it's just one of 7, and I mean there are more to come. It's like one of 10-ish new NPC factions, and each one of them has a different view on how to properly use magic. And the
Okay.
Inquisition is one of them. It's just right now one of the more powerful ones. That's kind of the point that everyone is looking to them, like, hey, how
And
do we do
especially
this?
on the frontier, because again, for
Yes.
new players, like we're moving into the new world, into Sarkan, into the new continent, that is. But we are also just on the frontiers in a place called the Bone Wastes, which is populated primarily by 3 main factions, which is the Tufrani, the Vibalia, and the Dragon
Dragon
Hunters.
Hunters.
Yeah,
Yes.
and this is kind of where they live. And then the other more powerful factions with a farther reach, which is obviously the Crimson Sales Company, the Greifenbraun, and the Inquisition. They have a bit more, and into Acheron, who have been traveling to like Mythospira for some years now. They have a broader sway and more control in these frontier lands. But over the years, over the next few years, the game may move to other locations within the Sarkanian continent as things sort of like evolve and the game moves into interesting places, and you will start to meet these other interesting factions. But we did touch on a faction that we didn't get to talk about much, and that was the Dragon Hunters, which I believe you have a special and vested interest in.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship to the Dragon Hunters and perhaps what your thoughts were when you actually took that faction, that group of people who spent like months and months, in some cases, like over a year working on costumes and concepts and ideas, and then seeing that colliding with the players and the game?
I think the Dragon Hunters are very dear to my heart because, of course, we all worked on all the factions, like the entire writers team. But this is basically the one that I came up with and where I was like, okay, I want to focus on these guys because they're fun. And I also was playing a Dragon Hunter. Like we try to be in game as game masters, but in character, so we can interact with the world a bit more immersively.
Yeah.
Um, and so this is because I spent a lot of time, a lot of meetings, a lot of preparations and guide writing and stuff.
Here we
I
go.
spent a lot of time with the Dragon Hunters. So yes, it was very important to me to see them in action because I've become great friends with all of them.
And how would you
And, yeah.
describe their political situation in the Bone Waste?
So the Dragon Hunters, just a quick rundown, is it's like a group of people that made it their goal to defeat all the like boundless evil monsters that there are in the world. Like magic created a lot of monsters, and now they roam basically not just the Bone Reach, but all of Sarkhan, but especially the Bone Reach because it's a harsh place. And they wanna kill all of them and get rid of them basically. I mean, they're called Dragon Hunters because they kept fighting dragons, but now there aren't any dragons or like just some dragons left. So they just decided, oh well, we're done with dragons. We're now killing every bad monster.
And
there
now
is.
they're fighting their internal battles and their internal
Yes.
conflicts. Because so
Yes,
much more
but-
to understand about them. So much of them are found
Yes, I mean,
family. They
they-
don't have like a hierarchy
so-
like the Greifenbraun or the Ateronians do.
Yes. I mean, it was very important to me that they are not just like, oh, they're just witches, but happy and just drinking all the time. Like there is a really cool story to find out about them and to get to know them and to go deeper, because on the surface, of course, it's just a funny bunch of people that hunt monsters and have ridiculous weapons. And they drink a lot, of course, because they know their life is basically could be over any day because they're fighting bad monsters. but there's a lot to know about them, a lot to get to know about them, because
Yeah.
I,
Which
I
is
just
cool,
don't
which
feel
you
like
can find out because, again, as we've said before, and we always say on our streams, when you encounter NSC factions, even often the battle NSC factions that you're fighting on the battlefield, but definitely the player-friendly NSC factions, they have their own internal stories, their own internal subplots, and every individual character inside of those factions has their own internalized game offerings and plot developments and ongoing stories that you can interact with and you can find out about by simply going up and talking to them, finding out what's happening with them, what's going on with them, like what's to do with their faction. Maybe they're being very standoffish, but then maybe you just got to ask them a few different questions and find out why are they being so aggressive. Maybe they're defending a sacred site. I heard they were really, because we had, if you guys get a chance to get a look at any of the image galleries for this year, and I think it's going to be another couple of weeks before the image galleries become public, but if you're interested in getting early access to those image galleries, it's I think just €6 at the moment.
Yeah, I think
€5 or €6.
that, yeah.
Yeah, €5 or €6 to get early access. So this is the same for all of our events, and for people coming from the Brandywine Festival, it's typical, I'm not sure if it's going to be the case for the Brandywine Festival, but it is typical that the photographers and videographers who are along at the festival will document a bunch of stuff, and then immediately after and during the festival, they will start to upload their images to the Scald galleries. And you can right now go back through all of the events that we've run in the last, well, I think 6 years and look at all the galleries that are up for all those events. But when a new event is just finished, there is a period of time to allow the photographers to get everything up. And if you want to start looking at those photographs immediately after the event, there's a little surcharge of €6, €5-6 to sort of get in there and get those photos immediately. But after 6 weeks, so 5 or 6 weeks, all of the galleries are free for anyone to view. And there was in the galleries this year, or maybe in some of the other Conquest International Facebook pages, or even on the Conquest Discord, you might start to see some of the cool big props that came to play. I believe there was like a 25-meter dragon bone installation with a 5-meter height, and the dragon hunters viewed that dragon bones, that dragon cemetery, as it were, as a sacred site. Is that correct?
Yes. So, of course, the dragon hunters, they think every dragon belongs to them, and also because this is like a bit, the dragon reach is ginormous, so they need like waypoints to lead them through the land. So when all the players came, their first instinct was to protect it, because they thought, oh, they're gonna come here and they're gonna take our dragon bones. So part of our play was telling them not to touch them, because we know that the players love to touch and lick stuff for some reason. So but this also opened up a lot of play opportunities. Like, people came to us and asked us like, hey, what do I have to do to be allowed to go to the dragon, to analyze it, to try to talk to it. People try to talk to it. It's been long dead, but not as dead as some people thought.
Okay, so there's a couple of comments coming in that I also actually wanted to touch on as well, or touching on things that I also want to discuss. But just generally, with regard to the players, how did you find the player vibe was when interacting with the new NSC factions? How did you feel it all went down this year, like all the result of all your work?
I think it went on amazingly. Like, our NPCs, like after the event, they I think their biggest critique or feedback was we didn't have time to do anything because there were so many people that wanted to talk to us. And I think my biggest fear, like, I had two big fears before the event, like waking up, sweating, nightmare stuff. Like, one of them was that our mace, or corn mace that you have talked about last time, I think.
If you guys haven't seen last week's
grow.
stream, we go into detail on the corn maze. Check it out; it's awesome.
It
There's
was
more
really,
footage
really
coming
awesome.
out about that as well. Yeah.
So I dreamt it just grow like a meter high, and all our mace ideas were just not gonna work because it was just a meter high. That was I literally woke up sweating because of this nightmare. And the other one was
crazy.
that no one wanted to talk to our NPCs. Like,
Yeah.
because we spend so much time. The hype of these people it was so nice. It was so good
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Like, we've been working with them and onboarding them and
Yeah.
talking about their costumes, and they're working on their costumes and for months now. Like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
onboarded them like at the beginning of this year. And
Yeah.
it was so nice to see it all in action. I was really afraid that people would just not appreciate their work and or maybe
that's
just don't want to talk to them because, sometimes people fear stuff that's new. And I'm
mm,
just so happy that they got appreciated. They had amazing scenes. They had fights. Like, I mean, that is the point, that some of them,
mm.
you're not supposed to be friends with all of them, of course.
Yeah,
But
because
as
there are
long as it's
interrelationships, but there are complex interrelationships between all
yes.
of the NSC factions. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily get along, and when players get drawn into that politics, they end up like sitting on one side or the other because all of the characters in each NSC factions, they're all people. They're all people and creatures with their own unique perspective, and they all are justified in what they're doing and how they're acting. The player-friendly NSCs, if they do like things that might be perceived to be evil, then generally that's for reasons that they have like really justified. There's psychology in every person, and there's a reason in every person, and this is cool because it very much mirrors like the players themselves, because the players are bringing this kind of play to the game, and when the player-friendly NSCs have this kind of game and this level and this complexity, then it just elevates everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fun. I mean, we spend a lot of time building up these characters and writing these characters and building connections between the characters, not just in one faction, but in between factions. Like a Vibalion and Tufrani, which normally hate each other. There could be two people that are secretly in love or connected in any way. And then you can find that out, and you can become part of this story and try to help them out and understand that this is. I mean, it's quite immersive because it feels real, because all of them, they have histories, they have backgrounds, they have friends and family, and they have problems that you can help them with. And
So we have
it's just
actually a
really fun.
very interesting question from one of our participants. Michael asks about magic. Can you read out the question, Mike?
Yeah, so you talked earlier about different magic types. Do they all or most follow the rule of 3? 1 body strain, 2 personal mana pool, 3 energy around us, or 3 enemies around us?
Yes.
Yeah.
In this world, we decided that it makes sense if magic works more or less the same, but the way people connect to the magic is different. Like, if you're just asking magic directly to come to you, that's just how most people probably do it. But there's like priests or clerics that use gods, because with SARKAN we introduced a couple of new gods. Sarkanians have gods,
Oh,
and these
okay.
gods
Wow,
are
wow.
quite real, and they have influence, and some of them
I
get
mean,
their
they don't
power
physically
from the
walk
gods.
around, right?
No, they haven't shown up yet. um, I think they're quite nervous about these new guys as well.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay.
But yeah, but if you're a cleric, you basically ask your god to connect to the magic, and then they connect you with the magic. And if you're like a druid, like a nature character, you ask nature, and nature connects you with the magic. But I think the biggest difference is who pays the price. Like, if you're a cleric, then part of the price gets paid by the god for you. And if you're a nature mage, like a druid, then part of the cost of the magic gets paid by nature itself. So I think that's like the biggest difference. But
Yeah.
we wanted magic to cost something, because it makes magic so much cooler and bigger, and the
Yeah.
sacrifice of a mage so much more worth it.
Yeah, and there are in the game, just so that new players or new people or people who haven't played the Realms of Mythodea before understand, magic is very much what you see is what you get for the small day-to-day magic. So like little tricks like UV lights to reveal hidden runes, or magic lamps to see in the dark, or physical effects like fire salts to change the color of flames, or magic powders, or potions, or psychological magic where you use your personality and your words to like affect people's actions. Those are like what you can do, and how you in time play with people by it's like doing an in fight where you sort of script the fight beforehand. You might have like keywords that you say to people at certain times because you have relationships with them, and those reflect the power that you have over them, and they have these things that they do that relate to that, and they're playing with you in that instance. Obviously, if you're playing with people who aren't playing on your side, you try those things, it then becomes up to them whether they want to pick up that play offering or not. But then when it comes to like the big magic, like the rituals and the costs and the sacrifices, that's, I think, a lot of the stuff that Fiona was talking about, where you'll gather people and resources to talk to your SLs or games masters in order to start making these really big effects happen in games. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, every mage can decide for themselves, or every like magic wielder can decide for themselves what kind of effects they want to use. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it. Like we have people that do magic through music. We have people that use like little fire effects, or like powder or stuff like that. So there's a ton of different ways to do it. We are working on an orientation guide. That's it's not like a rule system, but an orientation guide, especially for beginners, with like the most common magic spells and how we would portray them, just to give them like a start. Because once they come to the event and they've been like to the event once or twice, they will be full of ideas already. So we don't have to help them anymore.
This is the one of the most exciting things about where we are now, I feel, with Conquest gone, and we're now made the transition, because so much effort, I feel, has been just like moving into this new world over the last 3 to 5 years. And now it comes time to really start picking up the minutiae of onboarding players and taking this style of play that we're instilling in the NSCs and the battle NSCs and the play, and start trickling those effects down to the players so that everyone can have game. No one group of people can hoard or chase the big plot or the big bad. It's now a real living world with gameplay opportunities for everyone at every level, and starting to like lay the groundwork to educate people about how to really have fun with that is such an exciting prospect.
I mean, this is also part of the reason why we have so many new NPC factions, because hopefully you will find one that talks to you, like speaks to you, that is compatible with your play style. And then you will find like it opens up. It opens up. My God. It opens up a whole new like set of plot and stories you can participate in. And it's not just, I mean, they all also connect to the main plot line, so that's the fun part. Like, you don't have to be part of this one specific plot line to be like the people that save the world, but all of these come together in the end. Like, we want to have like the biggest buffet of plots that everyone can find what they love and participate, because gatekeeping has been a problem in the past, and we want to open it up as much as possible for everyone.
Yeah, which is awesome and so exciting. So sorry, just a lot. I think one little thing came in very quickly, and then we're going to move on to our last topic for the evening, and that was, if you don't mind, Mike.
Burgschneider Challange.
Oh, but we had comment.
First,
one thing to mention.
Yeah, exactly. One thing to mention, though, that was awful this year is the new use of some sort of colored smoke bombs or packs.
Okay, so this is the holy powder that we were talking about. It is definitely a thing. It's some people have complained about it in the past. Some people say that it stains clothes, but generally it's not supposed to. Fiona, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's holy powder, so it's biodegradable. Like, we try to take care of that. And so the Tufrani, which use these a lot because it's the mushroom spores for them, they told us that they could wash it out of everything. So I don't know how it reacts to certain fabrics. I mean, this is a trial and error. If you put it into the feedback form, then we can maybe find out if it reacts to certain fabrics that we don't know.
As we mentioned before, every game that we run is it's an experiment, because we are always yes, we've been doing it for years, but we're always moving into new fields and new territories, exploring with new ideas and new mediums, and working with the community to grow and build what we're doing. And just nobody has done this before. You you all and every person who has come together to make this happen are a part of this amazing experiment that continues to move forwards together. So your feedback really matters, and we really appreciate you coming to the stream and talking to us about your concerns. But also go to info@Burgschneider.
Yep.
Throw your concerns. There's also a feedback form that comes out after every event where you can jump online and let us know. Like if we don't know how what we're doing and the play that we're making is trickling down, then and how the experiment is going, then we can't continue to improve things for the future and for you guys in play. So thank you again so much for your feedback, for your concerns, for explaining these things to us, because without that, like we are ultimately quite a small team. When we have up to 10,000 people on site at any one time, and only a few hundred people to interact with that massive amount of people, we're not going to hear everyone's stories live at the same time, and not everyone's going to have the same experiences, even within our team. So your reflections, your experiences, this discourse, and your conversation is absolutely valuable.
I actually had a question for Fiona. Now, I know this could be a whole stream of its own, probably, so I'll try to condense this a bit. And I know you
With
can
3
only
minutes
answer a
left
little
to
bit.
cover our other important topic.
Exactly.
I try.
So there are gods in SARKAN, and we know about the SARKAN gods. So I'm just wondering, religion kind of as a gameplay thing, could there be consequences if you worship the wrong god, potentially, in the wrong situation?
Yes, I mean, this world, basically, the gods get their power from the people that worship them. So the more people worship them, the more power they have, and the more power they can give to other people, of course. I mean, this is why, I heard, someone told me that some players have started worshipping Skargan gods, and of course that is playing into their hands, but it's also fun. So but yes, in future there's going to be consequences for this, and there's going to be ways that the gods will show up, not necessarily in person, but through their actions, through things they can do. I think the best example this year, just to be quick, was the goddess Atana Zenkra, which is the goddess of war, but she has two faces, basically. When she's Atana, she's like tactics and duels and honorable fights, but if she gets fed too much, she becomes Zenkra, which is like bloodthirsty and rage and like the bad part of war. And this is how the gods have consequences. If you feed them too much, or if you feed the wrong gods with your belief, then things will happen.
Okay.
Just very quickly, with regard to the safety checks for the NPCs and players who are using the smoke grenades, it's definitely, we try and make as much awareness as possible. The smoke is always used in open areas, so it's never released in such a volume where it's sudden or unexpected. You always have the opportunity to move away from it as quickly as possible. And the NSCs who are using it are generally pretty well aware that it is using it, because it's very much to do, especially the colors of the smokes, are to do with the identity of their faction. So, for example, the Skargan, they use white smoke. So it's a given that it's going to be happening when they're doing it, and they can choose to be like a more skirmish-based or an archer kind of character who keeps their distance, and instead of being like a character who's stuck in a tight rank and file formation like the Black Dynasty and some of the Undead Flesh units do. With regard to the players, because it's used at a distance as a deterrent to become a force multiplier for those battle NSC factions, it's used generally at a distance, and the intention of using it, the plot reason for using it, is that it is poisonous to the players. So you need to narratively be running away from it as quickly as possible. That is the in-game premise for seeing the smoke. It is going to kill you. You get away from there as quickly as possible. And by this, we try and telegraph it. Smoke is very rarely used without most of the people who are participating in that particular encounter knowing that it's going to be used.
I mean, we do use smoke to signify like magical effects, because it's the best thing we have during the day. At night, we try to use more light based magic, But
Yeah.
during the day, smoke is like a way for us to signify that a magic effect has taken place, like during a ritual. We do have like only people that are introduced to how to use them properly can use them. They should have a yellow bag. And also you can go to one of the crow masteries on your meadow and you can ask them, is there something with smoke planned ahead? It's the same with like the explosions or the fireworks effects. You can go to them and ask them, because we did have people this year that were like, hey, I'm afraid of like fireworks, or can you please tell me when these are going to happen? And the crow masteries are there to tell you that. They can tell you, hey, there's a big ritual with a lot of smoke coming up, or there's a firework coming up at 9. Be aware. So yes, please come to the event, like come to the crow masteries and ask. And we try to make sure that you don't get affected by this if you don't
Yeah.
want to.
Again, we do our best. It is an experimental process. Michael, please send a description of these experiences to Burgschneider, info at Burgschneider, or add it into the questionnaire. We're always trying to improve, and we need to get these messages to the people who need to hear them, so that situations like this happen more often. And while we understand that we were very, very lucky this year and, you know, no incidents happened, there is always the chance that it might happen if we are not careful, and we must be careful. And again, it's a dialogue between the people running the games and the community of NSCs who are also giving their time by and large for free to be involved in this game. But please talk to the Crowmasters, try and build the safety things, send your recommendations. Like the more info we have, the more constructive criticism or even anecdotes or stories about the situations that you've experienced that we have, the better we can be equipped to deal with them going forward. So yes, thanks again for communicating with us. That is all the time we have for Fiona right now. We, unless Fiona wants to stick around for this very crazy announcement that we are about to make. I don't know.
God, I will stick around, but probably not as a flying head.
No, it's okay. Look, we will say goodbye to Fiona for the moment.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming in, answering a bunch of questions, talking to us about your experiences. We're going to have more people and more info coming up about Conquest over the next few weeks, as well as more info
questions
about
too.
Brandywine and more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to say goodbye to Fiona for the moment and stay in chat. We're going to talk about something very exciting very quickly before we tune out for the evening. So, just to let you all know, we are crazy announcements, and this is a crazy announcement not just for people in Germany, but for people all over the world. That's right. We talked about it last week. We teased it, but boys and girls, goblins and gribblies, ladies and gentlemen, the Burgschneider Challenge is back.
Hey.
Yes, we are going to be relaunching the Burgschneider Challenge next month in a little over a week from today. And while we are not going to be able to tell you all of the ins and outs of what this new Burgschneider Challenge consists of, we're going to tell you a little bit about what it used to be. Can you give us a little rundown, Mike?
Yeah, so basically we will have like a set group of products that you have to choose from. And the challenge, so it'll be like a pair of pants or a few pairs of pants to choose from, some shirts, maybe a coat or something. And you use these baseline products to create your own creation as a canvas to build your own look. And basically you compete against other people. And we do this on a season by season basis. So we'll usually do this 3 to 4 times a year. We'll have different rounds, and we have a grand winner, and we have some runner-up prizes as well.
Yeah, and we still haven't decided exactly what the prizes are going to be awarded for, but primarily it's going to be about using these specific articles of Burgschneider costumes and then customizing them. And just to explain a little bit more about this, we're going to take a second. We're going to quickly look at this video, and this is an old video. Just so you know, this is from, I think, 2019, when we started the challenge and ran it for like 5 consecutive rounds. But a lot of people have been asking us to bring it back, but this still really summarizes the essence of what it is. And you'll see a very, very young Bale in this video.
Exactly.
So keep an eye out.
Over the past 4 years, we've had a really interesting experience of seeing what people create with Burgschneider products. Obviously, the goal was always to produce products that were easily accessible for people, that didn't kind of force them into one direction or another.
A byproduct of that was that a lot of very, very creative people in the community realized that Burgschneider garments are a bit like a canvas. You can do a lot of things with them. There is like a lot of things we've seen over the time, and we've been so amazed about the range of creativity that we saw over the time. And we are really sad that we never were able to give it the attention it deserves.
In the end, we felt with Corona being something that allows people to have a little bit more time on their hands, maybe it's a good time to start to celebrate these creations and the people that are creating them.
So this idea came up, and the idea is called Burgschneider Challange. We decided to put a series of products out each month that can be bought at a heavy discount on our store.
In return, we asked one thing.
That you do something with it.
Create something unique. Whether it's for general costuming, cosplay, reenactment, or just putting together a costume for your pen and paper group. It could be simple modifications like putting trim or adding some stitching, or it could be a complete evolution of the garment into something completely different. At the end of the day, it's up to you.
And go crazy, yeah? And share it with the rest of the world using the hashtag Burgschneider Challange. So what do you get from it except a heavy discount?
We have a Facebook group in which you can communicate with others currently taking place in the challenge. Each month, we'll be selecting 3 of our favorites.
The first place will get a gift voucher of $100 or euros. The second one will get 75 euros or dollars for our online shop, and the third one will get $25 or euros for our online shop. You will find how to do this, you will find in the description below. But that is not the only thing. We will also feature your creation heavily in our live stream show,
where we can either interview you or highlight the work that you create. This includes if you're an artisan as well. So if you have your own shop and do modifications to clothing, make your own clothing, have fun. And we look forward to promoting you as the creator.
We can finally give all this amazing craftsmanship that is out there and all those great creations that are out there the attention they deserve.
So yeah, as you can see, it is a whole dang thing. As some of you guys cottoned on, yep, Skilltree was totally involved in a lot of the early promotion of that. And as everyone came out of lockdown, because it was essentially like a lockdown project that a lot of people got into and did some stuff. I'll throw up also a little slideshow of some of the work the other people did. You can see like lots of detailing, reconfiguring, reordering bits and pieces, modifying those base costumes.
And modifying is really the name of the game. It's really like some of these are just completely almost unrecognizable. They've really made them their own so much.
Yeah. Adding the details, reworking the fabrics, resizing, reshaping. For those people on the larger Americans, I heard a comment about that. We have actually been talking to some of our designers, and hopefully we'll get some larger sizes in, but it is very difficult because even though we're creating like some quite high quality garments, we exist in a sort of area between sort of the really high-end bespoke custom pieces and pardon me, and the crazy Halloween costumes. So you can still get like high quality fabrics and garments, but they're not going to be personalized, unfortunately not for everybody. But we are working towards that, and I believe that a lot of the D&D garments tend to sort of exist in the larger sizes, and they have a broader range of options. So if you want to participate in the challenge and some of those get into them, feel free to grab a couple. They're all going to be discounted, and they'll be discounted. Well, we can't tell you just yet. But there'll be a lot of the items that come up for discount will be available for the entire duration of the challenge, or for at least a few weeks. With regard to how we've done it in the past, we'll choose the items and then we'll announce them at the beginning of like a 3-month process.
Yeah, and we'll have a page up on the website that'll have those items.
Yeah.
We have to iron out the details. In the past, there was like a discount code for everyone that was taking place. They'd get a discount on like the items that they were going to use to modify.
But we're still discussing whether or not we're going to move into like a blanket discount on those specific items for that duration, or whether or not we're going to be handing out codes to people who register to participate in the competition. But as you can see, like there's been some amazing people participating and making some like amazing modifications, and really the sky is the limit. The only, I guess, requirement is that we should be able to see some of the Burgschneider fabric in there.
Yes, of course. And another important thing is also this isn't just for people who are like experts at crafting and everything. We really welcome beginners giving it a shot too and really doing their best. We really love to see that as well.
Every time we do a round, there will always be prizes set aside for people who are just coming into it for the first time, or getting in that low level, like really giving it a try and taking something and moving it to the next level. And the judges that we bring into this, they're either like experienced cosplayers or professional costume designers or LARPers themselves. So they really understand and appreciate the amount of work that comes in at all levels to these outfits and these creations. Now, we are hinting at a lot of stuff. We're very much ballparking this, but we are going to be coming back at you next week with a whole lot more details about this challenge and what's going to go into it. We will hopefully have the items selected by that point, so you'll be able to get a head start, order your items, and get some work started. Submissions will probably have to be like, there'll be a deadline for submissions, so it will not be the full 3 months that you'll have to work on it, but it's at least going to be 6 weeks from the inception, absolute minimum, before you have to start submitting. And then cutoffs, I would say, look, hold on for the specifics. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. But by next week, we're going to have a very serious outline of what this competition is going to look like. And we encourage you to like just get involved wherever you are in the world.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Jump on it, have some fun, be inspired by what other people are doing, be inspired by the new play offerings that are going to be coming up. Even if you're not getting it in done for Brandywine in America this year, you can get it ready for Brandywine in America next year. We are planning much more international. We're planning to build up our international presence, both at conventions and by running games, whether or not it's just the regular things or otherwise. So do stay tuned for all future announcements. It's going to get a lot more exciting. And never forget that a lot of the stuff we do also can inspire and can can spawn into community conventions. If you're interested in having a look at the community conventions, they're already run. A lot of them are in Germany, but jump on Scald, have a look at what they're doing, reach out to them, see what their experiences are like, reach out to us, reach out to the community through the Discord, through the Facebook groups, through the website, and ask information about running Realms of Mythodea stuff like in your own hometown. Like every group starts small. I started LARP with like 15 to 20 people in like my own town in Sydney, Australia. We ran out in the bush, and I'm going to tell you, everyone was trying to kill you out there. Get involved. Nothing's going to stop you.
Exactly. And the deadline's definitely not going to be before the Brandywine, so that's definitely
no. It will be after the Brandywine. So if you want to make a garment with the Burgschneider Challenge gear that you should be able to get before the Brandywine, make a festival outfit that you wear to the Brandywine Festival and submit photos that you take or videos that you take around the Brandywine Festival to us for review. It's highly possible that you're going to be in the running to be a winner.
Exactly. And so there's a Facebook page as well for the Burgschneider Challenge. So we're going to share that in the description for YouTube.
Yeah, it's very like everything is just coming back into business. We are just amping it up again. You're hearing about it first right here on our show. A lot of the information is very old that's on the websites at the moment and the Facebook groups, but use that as like a starting point to get inspired and feel out how it's been in the past, because it's going to be coming at you very soon with all new information and everything you need to get involved. And also the Facebook group is a place where you can, share your upgrades, share your progress reports, tell us what you're doing. We'd love to see things in progress and build those photo albums.
And people are so supportive. I mean, like, you might technically be competing, but it's really about the community as well. And everyone's really supporting and also often rooting for other people. And it's really, really like wholesome.
The other thing to note, and this is just like, you might say, oh, we're sharing information, we're talking about stuff, and maybe you get one or two people who are like doing very similar things, very similar ideas, very similar costumes. But that's awesome. Because the more people doing things that are similar, the more they can share information, bounce off each other, and like have cool stuff. And the more independent research they do to come to the same conclusions, the more different techniques they use, and the more information they share. This is like one of the beautiful things about cosplay. Like 25 different people in the world can do a Frozen cosplay of one particular character, and it's always going to come out different.
Yeah.
You know, because the uniqueness of the individual on the canvas, like Marcus was saying in the video, on the canvas of what is the Burgscneider collection of costumes, is what makes LARP characters and LARP events come to life. It's so cool. But unless we have any last minute crazy questions,
doesn't look like it.
Then that is us. That is Burgscneider Live. Thank you so much for joining us on the 26th of the 8th. We are going to be coming back at you next week with another round of information. We're going to be talking more about Brandywine, more debrief from Conquest, debrief the Conquest, debrief Conquest now.
And we'll have more concrete details about the Burgschneider Challenge.
It's going to be madness.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. Get involved. Stay in tune. Follow our links below. If you haven't already signed up, we will also be adding a few extra links to the description below with regard to where to find information on the Brandywine Festival, a couple other things that popped up in the stream as well. If we missed anything, or if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments of the video. We always look at the comments that come into the video. We love your engagement, both during the event. We love that you've been here live on this particular stream, and we love engaging with you in the comments after the fact. It's really good to hear what you have to say and to bring that forwards to the other streams that we're doing and the events that we're doing in the community at large. You've been awesome. This has been Burgschneider Live. We will see you next week. Same Burgschneider time, same Burgschneider place.
Yeah.